Welcome to Esoteric Essays, revealing humanity's biggest secrets, one essay at a time. Seek, and ye shall find.
Hi everybody, how you doing? You read the title of this video correctly. I am going to cover the topic of MKUltra today. First off, I want to introduce myself. My name's James. I'm the author of a series of essays that I have written and published all over the internet in places like Facebook and my private group called Esoteric Essays. I'll leave a QR code up, but just scan that with your phone, ask to join. I'll quickly accept all the requests, and then you can read all 13 essays that are at my group. They're posted under the featured section of the group in Facebook. So go to the group, and right where you write your post, where you want to write a post, right under that is the essays. And just scroll from left to right and you can see all of them right there. And you can follow me on Twitter. It's at Esoteric Essays. I'll put a little thing over here on the screen somewhere. And then I have random posts on Reddit and lots of other places. I would like to ask you to like, share, subscribe, and comment to this channel. And now we're going to get to the essay, so let's go. Okay, we're going to jump right into this essay right now. And this is Esoteric Essay number 6. Why is everybody acting so freaking crazy? MKUltra to the rescue. ... First of all, this MKUltra program is absolutely real. It's just called by many different names. If you're not familiar with this program at all, I suggest watching the Netflix series Wormwood. Not everything in this series is absolutely correct either, but it's worth watching, and they clearly admit to this program existing. There is also a biblical connection to this MKUltra / Wormwood as well. Yep, huge connection. Do you guys know Chernobyl actually means wormwood? This is important in the overall biblical scheme of things, so it's worth looking into further. Basically, it says a star will fall and taint the planet and the waters, and that's what happened at Chernobyl, which really means wormwood. See, these things connect in a really weird way. Even in the Bible, just people don't understand it. The nuclear reactor, the rising star that fell and melted down, and now it has tainted the ground and the waters. All anywhere near Chernobyl, everything's tainted. That's sort of what that passage is talking about in the Bible. It's really confusing, but all this ties together, but it's very difficult to understand. Back to the MKUltra stuff / Wormwood. Years and years and years and years ago, the United States government and many other governments and groups, it's just not governments, created their own MKUltra-like programs, and the attempts to use this synthetically created drug like LSD and many others to totally wipe out an individual's mind, heart, and soul and basically replace it with whatever they wanted. They would do whatever they were told. They both failed and accomplished in this mission in one way or another. Doing a huge amount of experiments on people like Charles Manson, Ted Bundy, David Berkowitz, Theodore Kaczynski, and many, many others, they perfected a method in finding the most susceptible individuals to these techniques. Some things would go horribly wrong and malfunction, and some of the above-named people are some of the more famous examples of this program gone wrong. That's what I claim. And there's other people claiming sort of the same thing. I think they're just scared to really come out and say it, but a lot of our serial killers are totally tied to the MKUltra programs, whether it be from our government, another government, or some very weird religious cults and sects, whatever. But there's some groups that use these techniques too to brainwash people. I cannot say they were all part of an MKUltra United States government program, but they were all part of an MKULTRA program from another country or organization, and it could be the United States government. I have said over and over that I worked in Hollywood and I had access to every single person in every department of every facet of the industry, all of them. I spoke to the most well-known audio editors in the business, and they clearly told me what was put on the audio tracks and how they work. They did. They told me that all of these movies and TV shows have subliminal messages embedded into them, and they're given them by the United States government, and they're told to put them in, and they do. I'm going to insert some pictures here of some of the warnings on some of the new movies that you watch on like Netflix and all the streaming services, and I talk about it in the essay, so I'm jumping ahead here. But these warnings say that like there's a strobe light effect and it may cause seizures. These are not from strobe light effects, these are from subliminal messages embedded into the movies and TV shows. Now, I can't stress enough for you to pay attention to the next big blockbuster movie you go and see or you stream on Netflix or some other service. The Incredibles 2 is a good example of this. In the beginning of the movie, in the left-hand corner, they normally have a warning saying this movie contains strobe light effects that may cause seizures in some viewers. This is absolutely true and correct, but it's not the strobe light effects. This is the audio subliminal messages coming in at a very weird frequency, and some people are so sensitive it completely freaks out their brain and seizes it up, and they don't know what to do, so they just freak out and fall on the ground shaking. This is totally true. This is why that warning's in the movies, and they're sort of covering themselves. This is how powerful the subliminal messages have become, and some people are affected by them so badly they have put this warning in the movies now. They can't tell you that it's because of subliminal messages, so they tell you it's because of a strobe light effect. It is a combination of both. They're only telling you half of the truth, and they're leaving out the big part about the messages. I wrote this a while ago. I can't prove this, but I will absolutely guarantee that in last weekend's release of the new Marvel Freemason movie called Black Panther Wakanda Forever, the movie had subliminal messages embedded inside of it that told people not to worry, the election was real, and we're not at war. They put these messages in these movies to try to calm people down, and they absolutely work. This is why they release certain movies at certain times, too. And we actually pay them our hard-earned money and spend our time for the honor of them doing this to us and trying to blast our brain with all these messages. This would also explain why some people will line up for some of these movies for almost a day in advance. Sometimes it's more. I remember the Harry Potter in Valencia, man. People were there for overnight, like camping, so they were the first people in line. And that's because the commercials in that, like, just drill it into your brain. You have to go. You gotta go. They have been so conditioned by subliminal messaging in the commercials and trailers for these movies that they just have to go see it immediately when it comes out, and they're compelled to stand in line for hours. This is totally true. Now, recently, over the last couple of years, citizens in our country have been acting absolutely crazy and doing things they would never do. Large amounts of people were out rioting and looting and stealing, and these are good people at heart, and they would never normally do this. You also have people shoving people in front of trains and subway systems for no reason and then running away. This happened in like New York or Chicago or somewhere. But I wrote this a little while ago. There are also accounts of people just walking down the street and stabbing the poop out of everybody that they see. Just today, somewhere in California, a child was stabbed in a Target store. You can look that up and you'll find the account of it. This weekend, while they were distracting the country with a movie full of subliminal messages, they were actually faking an election. And we also had a weird murder incident at 2 separate colleges in this country. The first incident involved a student shooting at a bunch of college football players and killing 3 of them and injuring even more. Then across the country, we had another incident where they found dead students in the house. This was a big deal. The police first announced that this was not a violent incident and there was nothing to worry about. And then a few hours later on the radio, they said they were all found dead and stabbed to death and murdered. And this morning, the news went so far to say that there was blood seeping out underneath all the doors in the house. And it was such a brutal crime scene, they'd never seen anything like it. Also today, a driver somewhere in California... It's okay. So back to this one with the college students. That's the one where the guy killed the college students and it took off across the country and the police didn't know who they were. So this guy did this. There's weird stabbings and shootings all over the place. What else was there? Also, a driver in California was driving his car down the road and then veered off the road and plowed into a group of 26 cadet sheriff officers as they were on their standard morning run. I think he killed a few of these officers and he's wounded at least 26 of them. Now, I know it sounds like I'm babbling all over the place from incident to incident, and I sort of am, but I think all of these might be connected in a really weird way. I think some of these incidents are happening because of other governments' MKUltra programs that they're using against our citizens to make them act absolutely crazy and do totally nonsensical things that they would normally never do. I think some other foreign governments, agencies, or other groups of individuals might be doing things in the background, and they are using versions of this MKUltra program to affect our public in weird ways, and they are making them do mass killings and weird attacks throughout the public, trying to disrupt our civilization. There is a very famous account of this happening already in our country, an event that doesn't really make sense, and that is the assassination of Robert Kennedy. The assassin who killed this man was an MKUltra victim. This was perpetrated by a secret society and their version of this program. This is why the assassin has always said he went to a party with a woman in a polka-dotted dress and then woke up being tackled on the ground with a gun falling out of his hand and people screaming at him, and he doesn't remember a single thing. This is absolutely true, and this man never would have done this if he was not programmed to do it. These programs really exist and they do work on everybody, but some people are affected and it works really well on them. I'm telling you, other countries are attacking us using these programs, and they're making our citizens do some really crazy things. I'm suspecting that our government is actually trying to counter some of these things, and they are embedding subliminal messages in our movies like Black Panther to counter what other countries are doing to us in other ways. They're literally trying to program us like we are human computers. And they're doing it in the background while we're all sleeping, and some people are freaking out and stabbing each other in the middle of the street, and everybody else is wandering around saying, what the hell is going on? Why is this happening? I mean, I really think this is a big part why we have a bunch of these weird attacks and shootings and stuff. I know these MKUltra groups are absolutely real because I've had personal dealings with a few of them. One of them is a very secluded place deep in the forest in Tennessee that cater to the rich elite, Hollywood celebrities. There was an MKUltra operative working at the facility spreading out LSD and programming celebrities in the background. Or what I thought was the background at the time. I tried breaking this up by alerting the authorities. The authorities were the ones that were actually involved in all of this, so that did me absolutely no good other than drawing attention to myself. So then I started telling the public about this place, just like I am with you right now. And there's a place deep in the mountains in Tennessee that I mean, you'll hear about celebrities going to certain rehabs and places, so you can figure out who I'm trying to talk about without naming some of these superstars. And they go to this place and they actually do a lot of weird MKUltra stuff in the background and sort of program them. And one of them is very near Knoxville, Tennessee, in the woods, and start looking to see which celebrities went to one of those around there, and then you'll start seeing who's being programmed by who. So I tried breaking this up by alerting the authorities. The authorities were the ones that were really involved in all of this, so that did me absolutely no good other than drawing attention to myself. So then I started telling the public about this place, just like I am with you right now. I'm just not naming it, but I know they're still watching me, so they know I'm still outing them as we speak, so hopefully they're not doing this to celebrities at this location anymore. I really am about to tell the person's name. I mean, this person's doing this to other people around Knoxville in the area, and I mean, doing a lot of bad things to some people and using them to get blackmail on certain politicians and stuff. And the police were involved in a lot of stuff, man, and hold on, let's keep reading. I probably said enough that you guys could figure out who and what I'm talking about if you really research it online. But I'm not going to name any more names than I already have. But this is really happening, and there are groups that use this against some of the most famous celebrities and powerful people on the planet. They do this in order to keep them under control. There's actually videos of some of these celebrities freaking out online in videos saying some very weird things and almost glitching like a malfunctioning computer. There's one of Lady Gaga, there's a whole bunch. I mean, man, I don't want to really say too many other people's names because, I mean, what's her name? Tila Tequila? Something like that. Go watch some of her older videos and you're going to go, what the heck is happening to her? But I mean, some of these people start malfunctioning really bad from all the stuff they're programmed with. They do this in order to keep them under control. There's actually videos of some of these celebrities freaking out online and videos saying some very weird things and almost glitching like a malfunctioning computer. They tried to hide these and take these down as fast as they can, but you can still see them, and that's what's happening to them. Some of the most powerful famous celebrities were sent to the facility in Tennessee that is hopefully no longer there. I will show you another example of deep conditioning in the MKUltra system and what it means to a handler when they see it out in public. Do you know how you're walking around recently and you see a bunch of girls or young men with all these crazy different colored hairstyles? This is an example of deep MKUltra conditioning, and a handler knows what they are looking at when they see it in the public. When they see a girl with super red dyed hair, they instantly know that under the right conditions, they can use her as a sex slave operative. I know this sounds horrible, but that's what this is, and that's what this hair means to them when they see it on a random girl walking down the street. They know that somewhere along the way she has had some MKUltra programming, whether it's just from a downloaded video on the internet or an operative actually handling her, but she is willing, under the right conditions. It's not just she either, it's he. It's both. But I'm just using a she as an example because you see it more that way. But it is both she and he, trust me. But under the right conditions, to do some things sexually if needed. If they see a girl or a guy with pink hair, that means they're totally innocent and at the very beginning stages of the program, and they probably are willing to do nothing but be a good person. Some of them will even look at the brown-haired person saying that they are stubborn. Green hair has meaning, blue hair has meaning, silver, purple, all these different colors have meanings to an MKUltra operative that's just sitting on the street or in an amusement park or a mall and watching all the people walk down the street. He can tell who's at what level of which programming by things like their hair color. And it's not just hair color, it's like weird different things, like different kinds of trendy styles, like different kinds of styles of nails, different kinds of clothes, and weird stuff. And they can tell that you have been conditioned by either, like I said, downloading a video, and there's weird subliminals in some of it. And then they know you're in the program and what you might be willing to do if they like drug you or do certain things to you. They could get you to do this stuff. I mean, this is totally real. I mean, this is what the CIA has been studying this forever. It's like a weapon. And other countries have this as a weapon and they use it against us. We used this in Iraq. When we went into Iraq, we used huge amounts of very powerful subliminal messages and audio and stuff. And they almost just didn't do nothing. When we came into the country, we annihilated it, and then they were like happy we were there at first. And a lot of this is like our super powerful subliminals in places like China and Russia have been working on the same thing. So other countries and groups are using this against us. See, other groups, secret societies, foreign governments also know a lot of this, and they use it to their advantage as well because they have the same programs themselves. And secret societies do this to people too. This is not just hair color. There is a giant manual that used to be online that was leaked to the public. They went over this and a lot of the details, and I'm just telling you the things that I remember from that, or what I personally was told by the group of people I was fighting for a while in Tennessee. I learned a lot from some of these people at first, and then a lot of bad things happened there. These people tried to totally absorb me in at one point and revealed quite a lot to me, and I found that it's so repulsing I completely rebelled against them and tried to help the other people I cared about that were involved in this, and tried to warn the public about what was going on in the mountains in this secret facility. They can also tell what... I'm going to have to talk more right here. I mean, about these people. I mean... No, I'm not going to do it. They can also tell what level of programming you are by the kind of acrylic nails you choose, by certain clothes you wear. They have this down pretty well. General public knows almost nothing about this other than rumors of some weird MKULTRA stuff. And if anybody ever mentions it, they normally think they're totally crazy and they don't even listen to what they're told in the first place because they think you're crazy because you said something about MKULTRA. This is what has led to some of these younger Hollywood celebrity murders and supposed suicides. Some of these people figured out what was going on because they actually do this to these people in the background in ways they don't even know it's happening to them. But if they figure it out, some of them start talking about it to their friends and on the internet, and then they quickly show up dead in car crashes, suicides, or drug overdoses. I named a couple of them already in some of my other writings and posts and videos. Be careful with what names I say, but yeah, some of these celebrities like murdered. So I just want to be very clear when I say if you are watching something on TV, the internet, your phone, your laptop, your tablet, listening to a radio song, watching a movie in the theater, playing a video game on the PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, any of these things, you are being blasted with subliminal messages all day long, whether you want to believe it or not. These are all highly effective and working in ways they don't even know themselves. Again, this is why they put warnings on our movies now. So I reiterate, I'm saying a lot of our citizens are acting as crazy as they are because they are being absolutely blasted by subliminal messages from all of these entities and even more. You guys need to understand that other countries are attacking us in this way. And if you download illegal videos or some really weird stuff from crazy sites all over the internet, or you open up some weird messages and links from crazy people in places you don't know, and now you start watching videos and stuff, you are being blasted by some subliminal messages. That's like when you download these pirated movies and stuff from these sites in Russia and China, and you think you're beating the law, you're actually getting blasted by subliminal messages that are put there by these countries' militaries. And then people start acting crazy and going out and shooting and stabbing people. And the police are going, what the hell is going on? And no one understands anything. I mean, I'm really saying that they're about to really start unleashing this really bad on the citizens. And people are going to start attacking each other. They're going to start fighting with each other, and no one's going to know what's happening. And this is even talked about in the Bible, where you get attacked in our country attacks us in really strange, weird ways, and nobody understands. And that's what they're doing. They're attacking us with these weird subliminal messages and stuff. So I encourage all of you to really look into this. There's a lot more to this. And I'm just barely scratching the surface. Like I said, I worked in Hollywood. I talked to the film people. I said, when it was filmed, before it was digital. And I'm like, what goes in all those spots on the film? And they're like, oh, well, this one's the movie, this one's the audio track. I'm like, well, what's all this stuff over here? What's in you see these spaces on this picture, and they're like, oh, well, that's where we put all the subliminal messages. And he just told me. I was like, this is crazy. I was like, what subliminal messages? He's like, oh, they're the ones that they bring in from the government guys. I'm like, what government guys? He's like, well, the CIA agents that come in. And I mean, this is crazy. And so it really happens. And some of these people will just talk openly about it. Because you're like in the industry, one of the groups, so you just go along with it and go, oh yeah, okay, yeah, that sounds okay to me. That's subliminal messages. And then you leave and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe he just told me that. But I mean, I've had a lot of weird experiences from people who work in the industry like that. Okay, this ends Esoteric Essay number 6. Written by me, James Mazzeo. So I highly encourage you to look into all this, because it's really happening, and it's very powerful stuff, and it's a weapon. We've used it against people, and there's other countries using it against us, and that's going to explain why people are acting a little crazy lately. All right, that's the end of this essay. Please like, share, subscribe, and leave comments, and I'll answer you in the comments. You see my link to my group over here, so I have all my essays over there. They all connect in lots of weird ways. I talk about Area 51 and the underground city they're really hiding there, and how it connects to the Aztecs. And I talk about Cleopatra and how she was really at Oak Island like 2,000 years ago, and she beat everybody, including the Templars. That's why the Templars were at Oak Island 1,000 years, looking for stuff that Cleopatra found 1,000 years before them. I mean, I write a lot of different things in essays, and they're all connected in a lot of weird ways, so I highly encourage you to come over to the group and read everything and participate there. But if you found this interesting, please like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, peace. Later, guys.